Welcome to the STAT online course for methods. I'm Scott Crawford. This class is sort of a new class. We're trying to put it together. So any feedback you have on what we could do better is very welcome. It's expected that you've had some sort of an intro class, and then you take this methods course, and from there you should be ready for a lot of other classes. And so this is going to be a little different than the intro course. Let me explain why. A lot of our intro courses, such as Stat 2050 or 2070 or 4220, or maybe you've had AP Stats in high school, there's a lot of other classes you might have come from. There's a lot of students in those classes. The 2050 class has 150 online and in class each semester. Same for the 2070, 4220 has a little bit less. But overall, we have around 1,500 intro students per year coming from all the different various sources. For the methods, we get about 30 per year. Huge difference. So the sheer numbers means we can teach methods a little bit differently. We also have to worry about people coming from lots of different intro classes where you have different levels of understanding. Some teachers really covered Z versus T well, some teachers covered regression well. So we're going to need to take everyone at all these different levels with different teachers up to the same level and then help you get ready for more classes beyond that. You'll notice I pulled regression aside. This class is sometimes a sort of baby regression class, so we cover a lot of what's in here, plus that's our most useful class. So some people draw the picture more like going through regression to these other classes, but it doesn't need to be. From here, you're able to take a whole lot of upper division classes. Now in the intro courses, we usually assume that students don't really know anything coming into the class. And now for methods, we can assume that there's a few things you understand. So we'll go quickly over a lot of the prerequisite stuff we hope you learned in the intro class. If it feels like it's going too fast over some section, either because your teacher didn't cover it in that much detail or you kind of maybe didn't pay attention, great. There's lots of other online help that you can go to pick up those kind of topics. Then we're going to get into the real core of this class, which is if someone came to you with a data set and said, I need help answering this question, could you take their data set, put it in the computer, get out an analysis, and then write a report to help them answer that question? This is a very valuable tool. When you get out of this class, you're going to feel like you have something useful. Now, the intro course, often my online videos are full of all sorts of funny, interesting things that zip all around. Methods course has to be designed a little differently. There's going to be a lot of videos where we deal with the same data set over and over because it takes a while to go through and piece it out. And the intro class is heavy on, is it Z or T? Calculate the Z-scores, calculate the p-value, and that's why it has tests. This class isn't going to be test heavy because you have to be able to analyze a data set and explain it. It's not the same type of format. So the main part of this class is, can you do a final project? For the final project, the military comes to you with a massive data set and says, here's the information we need in order to win this war. Can you go through it? And you need to be able to say, here's the stuff that your data can say, here's the stuff your data can't say. And so that final project takes the place of what would be like a final exam. And you'll notice it's a huge chunk of the grade because this is where you prove that you learned the stuff in class. To help you be ready for that final project, we have homework. And that homework has two different types, the analysis and the report. Now, an analysis is where you just need to run the data and show that you know how to put it in the computer, how to get the right output out, and sometimes it'll ask for maybe a sentence of explanation. But mostly I'm checking your numbers in the analysis to make sure they match the key to show that you've done it the right way that I told you how to do it. The reports are a little different. You can write those reports the way you like to style reports, and there's lots of different styles, but there are certain things that need to be in that report. And each report has a rubric so that you can go through and see, okay, here's the stuff that I'm looking for when I grade your reports. Those reports are meant to be practices for the final project. In fact, the very last report has basically all the pieces that you will need for that final project. So when I grade your report, I will grade it as harshly as if it was a final project. That's the bad news. The good news is, no matter what grade you get on your homework, I will give you 100% in the grade book just for completing it. So that way you don't have to worry and stress. If a report ends up badly, you don't have to worry about your grade being ruined. In fact, at the beginning of the semester, it's very common for people to be getting 20%. Halfway through the semester, they're up to 40, maybe 60%. But by the time we get to the end of the semester, your report should be getting 90%. And that way you'll know, okay, That's what I should expect on the final project. The final project is bigger than any of the reports, so you should plan to spend more time, and I will give you more time. If you look at the schedule, you'll notice that you have a lot of time to work on that final project. So, bottom line, there's homework, the analysis, just do it and get the right numbers. For the report, pretend it's a final project. Really put some effort into making that report look good, and I will grade it like it was a final project. But in the grade book, by the time you get to the end of the class, you'll have 100% because you've done all the homework. And now the question is, can you show me in the final project that you have learned to do what you need to? There's a couple of notes on this. Let's say the homework is due on a particular day, and when that day arrives, you're not quite done with it. I would rather have you turn it in a day or two late, or over the weekend, turning it on Monday, and have it correct than have you turn in something sloppy. That being said, sometimes students will turn in something sloppy because they don't want to waste time on it. And they know that in the gradebook they're going to get 100% anyway. That's not a new game, okay? I'm very aware of that. What happens is I will allow that and I'll give you 100% in the gradebook, but I'm going to remember that you have not shown me, for example, how to handle a categorical by numerical interaction. And when I grade your final project, I'm going to go through it really carefully to make sure those homeworks where you turned in sloppy work, that you've demonstrated those pieces in there. So you can either turn in good quality homework, and then in the final project, I'm just checking that you kept up that quality. Or if you turn in sloppy homework because you know you can get that 100%, you can expect that I'm going to go through that final project in detail. So there's the trade-off. I expect most students in this class to get an A, because it's not hard to get the homework done, and if you've taken the reports seriously, by the time you get to the final project, you know how to do a good report. Now, this being an online class, you might find you need more help than in these videos, and please do feel free to email me and talk to me. If you look in the syllabus, you'll notice there's a link to my homepage where there is a list of tutors, people who've done well in this class in the past and have said that they're willing to help students with this material. We're going to have a discussion board where you can reach out to other students and say, hey, for this homework question, I couldn't get the computer to do this, and they'll help you. Final project, of course, needs to be your own work. But if you're falling behind, reach out for help and contact somebody. Next video, let's talk about what the expectations are as far as the computer program.